How would I describe the story of Scary Godmother? Well, your scary godmother is like your fairy godmother, but for Halloween. So I kind of incorporated that as what if when you were little there was a lady that kind of came around and helped you have a good time with monsters instead of being scared of them. The newest Scary Godmother story is The Revenge of Jimmy, because last year at the end of the first Scary Godmother show, Jimmy got his. The monsters all scared him and he learned that he wasn't as tough as he thought he was. So now he's had a year to plan to make sure that the monsters don't come back and get him, because he's really afraid of monsters now. Before he thought monsters were all made up, but now he thinks that, well, he knows they're real and he wants to make sure they don't come and get him. So this story is all about how Jimmy decides to get back at the monsters and how he learns that maybe monsters aren't so bad as he thought. Scary Godmother is kind of like the ambassador of spookiness. She's kind of the queen of the fright side. She's kind of an authority figure that monsters on the fright side would turn to. She lives in a big spooky house like everyone thinks a witchy type woman would live in, with Bugaboo and Mr. Pettibone, who are her best friends.
Hannah, sweetie! Well, aren't you a sight for sore eye sockets?
Hi, Mr. Pettibone.
Hannah is really a little girl unlike, any real little girl.
My character, Hannah, is quite little. She used to be scared of the dark, and then she made monster friends. If you're too busy right now, I can come back later.
Aw, Hannah, I'm never too busy for you. What do you need?
In Scary Godmother, I do the voice of Ruby, the vampire, and Scary Godmother. Scary Godmother is a vivacious girl who lives on the fright side, sort of keeps the door of the fright side in a way, welcomes the stray cats and dogs that come in, is a friend to monsters of all descriptions. And as we find her in these stories, is beginning to be a liaison with Hannah in the human world.
We can't stay long. Max Orson and I are going to the grocery store, and knowing how busy you are, we wondered if we could get you anything.
Ruby is a gorgeous, very old girl who looks very young. She's got a good appetite, and yet she keeps her figure. Very slender, very well-groomed, lovely long teeth, lovely long hair, a lovely girl, takes great care of her husband, very caring wife, very good mother, eats people.
You are right. No matter how he looks on the outside, he is always a prince to us. Orson, come up and enjoy the party.
Thanks, Mom.
The characters that I voice in Scary Godmother. Funny you should ask me that. First one I get to play is my good friend Max the vampire, who's married to beautiful, beautiful Ruby, and I have son, beautiful son too. Although he has very modern ideas, sometimes makes me a little unhappy. Hey, Prince of the Night.
Mr. Pettibone's the skeleton in the closet. He keeps all the secrets of everybody everywhere.
Scully, put some muscle into it.
I would, if I had any muscles. Also, Scully Pettibone. I have a flair for decor, as it were. Oh, Scary Godmother. And he's the skeleton that lives in everyone's closet. I get to be the keeper of all the secrets.
I'm out of cobwebs, though.
I'm sure Scary Godmother's got extra. This time of year, she's as busy as a mummy at a bandage sale.
Bugaboo is a monster who works under your bed. He goes to monster placement agency. Then he goes and he does kind of your blue-collar monstering work. He's not a famous monster like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, but he likes the job that he does, and his parents wish that he was a little bit higher up the social ladder. They want him to be a very famous monster.
Gotta go. That kid next door ain't gonna scare himself. Catch you later.
I do Bugaboo, and I do Harry. Now, Harry's a werewolf, and Bugaboo's a big, multi-eyed monster who hides under children's beds. And he sounds like this. Hey, I come here to scare you. Harry is way on the other side. He's a very effete kind of character who loves, he's a gourmand and an artiste, you see. He likes the finer things in life, which is totally unlike me because I'm I'm a Mickey D kind of guy.
Harry is the werewolf who lives in Ackerman Forest with his poor put-upon mother, who we've actually never seen in our show.
Now let us cast our gaze towards an average house in an average neighborhood and meet a boy named Jimmy.
No, separate the eggs from the dragons.
Tabitha does such a good scary godmother, and the bugaboo now I hear is Gary.
Ah, the magic of video. Now let us cast our gaze towards an average house in an average neighborhood and meet a boy named
And
Jimmy.
I can't hear bugaboo now without thinking of
We open our
Gary's
tale
voice in my head.
Harry! Why was my name off the top so small and yours so big?
I don't think you need anybody else but Scott to, he could do like 7,000 voices.
Sweetie, well, aren't you a sight for sore eye sockets?
Making a cartoon, that's a bit more work by committee because now I don't get to make up all the ideas and there are a lot of other people involved, and then I hand off characters that I know very intimately in my head to voice actors and other people that you have to kind of explain how they relate to each other and why they are the way they are, and then they bring their own personal stamp to it.
Jimmy, don't make faces. Your face might freeze that way.
I love a scary godmother's ability to boss people around. She can get things done. She can get a house cleaned. She can delegate. She can order pizza really well and get someone else to pay for it. I like that a lot. I also like her tights. She has really, really smashing striped tights, which I feel everyone should have at least one pair of, and a beautiful hat.
Harry is a very effete, over-the-top kind of guy. He has a real sense of the dramatic. He's a very dramatic guy. He loves to eat. He's always getting into trouble, even though he doesn't want to get into trouble. He just seems to fall into it. It's not my fault. It just happens. You figure out pretty quickly what voice won't fit. Finding something that fits the persona that you see on the drawing. Every character has a gesture that locks you into the gesture, and Harry's was, ooh, candy. That's his thing because he's always like a dog on the prowl, looking for something to eat. If I was to do a warm-up for Harry, it would be, what did you do to die today in a minute or two to two? A thing distinctly hard to say, ooh, but harder still to do. It's harder. And then with Bugaboo, it'll be, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la.
Humming and doing all sorts of, what did to do to die today at a minute two to do? Things distinctly hard to say, but harder still to do. For all beat to do with a rat to do with a rat to do, and a dragon will come at the sound of a drum at a minute or two to do today and a minute or two to do.
I'll give you some examples. I want more characters. More. And I love characters because they're your playfellows. They share the space inside my head. Come on, folks, fill it up. Sorry.
Here's obviously my favorite voices. Hello, how are you? My name is Hannah. And then I like doing Valley Girls, like totally. And then, little voices like this, I'd love to read these kind of voices.
Huh? Is this thing on? These cameras sort of make me a little nervous. Oh, the lights, it's sort of like Woodstock.
And don't snort when you laugh. It's very unladylike.
I think my favorite, for those of you with delicate constitutions, you might not want to watch this violent vegetational dismemberment.
For a money.
The thing I love about animation, I get to work with really interesting and fun people.
What do I love about animation? I love it because it's animated and because you don't have to be really quiet and you don't have to be really shy. You can be crazy! That suits me quite well.
With animation, I think no matter what the character is, even if it is somebody very calm and very controlled, you have to bring You have to put a lot of energy through any character.
When you come in doing voice, it's not like doing TV where you have to go there and get your makeup done and your hair done and nice clothes or whatever you have to wear, a wardrobe. Here you can come in your pajamas, which I've done a couple of times, and you don't have to have your hair done. You can just be like scrubby or whatever.
And nobody cares what you look like. And you can do anything in the studio as long as your voice is right here.
Being able to be really stupid, it's important, you know. You have to be able to just feel relaxed enough to be playful. But then you also have to hit things fairly precisely. So that's a little bit of a challenge, you know, to be relaxed and playful at the same time. It's a game, and you play it deadly seriously.
The other thing I like about it is voice acting is the purest form of acting, because you have to figure out, you know, you have to fill in the geographical, emotional, and physical intent of the character. And the thing about cartoon acting is that the acting will carry you 80% of the time. The voice will only carry you 20% of the time. You have to do all the physical gestures, and your intent has to be absolutely clear so that the animators know what to draw and how to draw your face. The biggest challenge when voicing a character, I think, would be maintaining the integrity of the character throughout the series.
And that's where I come up with almost every voice I've ever created is always in the car. That's just where I like to work. Some people are like, oh my Lord, look at that, that ain't right. That man's over there talking to himself. And I heard someone answer him.
When you get out of the studio, sometimes you're still in that voice register and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? And then it's kind of hard to turn it back down. I love doing it with the monsters because I love watching like Tabitha and Scott and Gary just do their voices because it's really interesting watching them because they have a completely different voice, and I just love watching them, so that's probably the funnest.
We look like we're having a good time in the studio. Well, I mean, that's an act that we put on. I hate them all. Oh, my gosh. Having to hang out with those losers, I'm like, oh, my Lord, what a pack of amateurs. Where are the real actors? Get the real actors in here, Gary. Chalk. Whatever. Don't smoke. Smoking is bad for you. It comes out your nose, and then your nose hairs get crusty.
Ah, they're all miserable buggers, each and every one of them. I can't stand them. Especially that. And the other one that I really hate is Ada.
It really is therapy, I think, for most of us. You get to toss a personality and idea up in the air and just play volleyball with it and let it bounce back and forth from person to person to person. I think it's probably trying to, you know, always come up with something new and something that's fresh and not start sort of recycling.
I'm glad you did. I'm waiting for Bert, Daryl, and Katie. They're picking up Jimmy and we're going to plan our Halloween. It's gonna be great.
Why would kids enjoy watching Scary Godmother? Well, because it's got me in it.
I think kids will enjoy this movie because it's funny and there's parts where you want to cry and parts where you want to laugh, and it helps you to get over your fear of monsters because they're really nice people.
If you were to ask Scary Godmother why she thinks kids would enjoy this show, she would say, because I'm in it, and so will you be.
Oh, I just like it. You want to watch the show? Love the show. Great people in it. Pettibone gets on my nerves. Harry, well, he's always eating a buffet before I get there.
I think you should watch it because you get to see me. All singing, all dancing, all me.
Well, many children are not so much aware of the darkness of the vampires, and it's very important to embrace every culture. Horticulture, aquaculture, vampire culture, every culture.
It is important for you to watch this show, and I tell you why. Because this show will give you an education. And an education is what sometimes is sorely missing from new generation.